Well, for more, let's cross to Jeremy Ghez, Professor of International Affairs and Economics at HEC, the French Business School. Thanks for being with us here on France 24.
Thanks for having me.
Trade tariffs now for as political sanctions. Your thoughts?
Look, I mean, there's nothing unusual about this when we know how Donald Trump operates. This is a transactional view of the world at work, the translation of a transactional view of the world. And it's also this old philosophy that has been dear to him for quite some time, which is in this negotiation process, the point is to find a deal, not a compromise, make outrageous claims, try to identify your counterparts' red lines, and then basically be able to find a deal. So this tough talk that your report just talked about, well, is not unexpected. It's what you would see in the midst of a trade war, but don't be surprised either when there's a deal in a month or 2 months from now, because this is the trademark of the art of the deal, and it's what we've been used to with Donald Trump.
Yeah, but
it's incredibly...
Are we mixing apples and oranges here? Because it's one thing to threaten China over its trade practices and then come down from a hard bargain position. It's another in this case where he's asking for Brazil to change its domestic politics.
No, but look, I mean, you're exactly right. But at the end of the day, the real issue at stake for Donald Trump is his brand name, his last name. If he can claim a victory to his base, to his MAGA base domestically, that's the only thing that matters. In the particular case of Brazil, there is a form of replication of what you see in the United States. You have the left wing, you have the right wing, and Donald Trump is trying to bat for the former president of Brazil. So if he can go back home and say, look, I am fighting for conservatives across the planet, and look at me, I basically am mobilizing, all of the forces to fight, for the people who look like us. This is tribal politics at work, and he knows this is what's going to get political mileage at home. So, of course, we can be incredibly worried about what this means in terms of globalization, but let's not miss the point here that Donald Trump doesn't care.
And will he start to care if it spooks investors? Has it spooked investors? We're seeing the U.S. dollar, which has fallen, particularly against the euro. Is this a direct correlation with Donald Trump's erratic policies as you describe them?
So this is honestly the million-dollar question. We already saw this at play in April when he first announced the first rounds of tariffs, right? We saw a lot of preoccupation on the debt market, in particular, not only coming from China, but from Japan, a friendly power too. And supposedly, this is where he started to back off. I know, we all know that what matters at the end of the day in American politics is the state of the economy, and an economic crisis can be fatal to any presidents, maybe to Donald Trump included, right? So yes, this is where he may be able to back off. But you know what? From the standpoint of the state of economic fundamentals right now in the United States, they're still fine. Inflation hasn't hit the peak that we would have expected, given Trump's policies when it comes to trade tariffs and to immigration. Inflation still remains quite reasonable. Unemployment remains reasonably low. So for now, yes, he's probably cautious, or his advisors are probably cautious, but I don't think we've seen any kind of warning signal for him to be inclined to change his mind at this point, at least.
Jeremy Ghez, many thanks for joining us here on France 24.
Thank you for having me.